All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Comeback podcast. I guess Comeback Conversations. We got like 9 different names. One thing about me is I just do not give a fuck. Yeah. I'm just going to keep talking and talking and talking. But this week we got my friend here, Josiah Novak. And dude, Josiah, what I want to talk about today, we spent a couple days together. You're building a fitness program inside of the container of IAMACOMEBACK directly for Comeback members, right? Which is pretty fucking awesome. So thank you for doing that. I know the guys are excited. It's going to be badass.
Excited. Very excited.
It's going to be super cool.
Hell yeah.
And you know, I've done a podcast with you. I think we did it over Zoom.
Yeah, we did Zoom.
But here you are. You've spoke at my event, been to my house, fucking friends of mine. You're actually part of the Comeback in a coaching aspect, not from an alcohol component, but in a coaching aspect to spend time with me. But what I want to address today is alcohol a performance enhancing drug? Since we're going to be on, basically, we're going to keep this in an alcohol context today so you can do what you do and trigger people. And I think I just trigger people.
It's a performance destroyer.
Right.
Yeah.
You think so?
Absolutely, man. It's a toxin. It's a poison.
Yeah. Let's go facts based on this one, right? Because typically it's just me theory and F words and energy.
Well, we can start with the science. Alcohol has literally got no value for your body. Not at all. There's literally nothing the body can do with alcohol. It's empty calories. That's where the term empty calories comes from. It has a caloric value. And what that basically means is it's got a measured value, right? So it has energy, but it can't serve any purpose in the body whatsoever. So it's actually, when the body ingests any form of alcohol, the first thing the body does, it shuts down all operations basically to get rid of it. It has to filter it out. It's like if there's an intruder in your home, your only priority, besides obviously making sure your family's safe, is to get the intruder out. And that's what alcohol is for the body. It's literally someone busting in your home in the middle of the night, alarms go off, body goes, oh shit, let's get this thing out. So when ingesting alcohol and trying to lose body fat, for example, all processing of food, all processing of calories stops until that alcohol is out of your system. So it's a poison, a toxin, and this is from a scientific standpoint. So we're not even talking about the mental and the reliance or the crutch that people use alcohol for, but it has literally got no nutritional or positive value for the body. So that's the first thing people need to understand.
So it's got calories, but the calories are useless.
It's empty. So the reason why it has calories is because anything
of substance.
It's a substance, right? It has an energy value, but the body can't do anything with it, right? So for example, protein, carbohydrates, and fats, those have nutritional value. So those are things that the body uses for hormonal process, for rebuilding tissue, for heart function, brain function, energy, all that stuff, right? Alcohol can't be used for anything. It's literally the body goes, oh shit, you're going to die. Sure. If this stays in the body, we got to get rid of it. So the liver helps process it out. Your digestive tract, your gut microbiome, all of that starts to break down and get rid of it as soon as it possibly can, which there are things you can do to get rid of it faster, right? We could happily cover that, but it has no value at all. So it's a net negative on the body. And this is just from a scientific, nutritional, biofeedback, whatever you want to call it. It's just how to look at alcohol from a survival perspective. It has no value whatsoever. So if you're out in the wilderness and all you have is alcohol, you are fucked. You're not going to live very long, right? So it's not like, if all I had was rice, okay, well, you'll live, right? Because your body will be able to. Now, technically, I should take a step back before all the trolls come at me. Rice actually is missing a couple key components that your body would need, but the body would be able to survive much longer than if all you had was alcohol. Alcohol is not there's no value whatsoever.
So you talked about it from the body. Let's talk about it from the mind. Mm-hmm. And so we're just having a conversation about coaching.
Yeah.
Unicorns, higher level people, right?
Sure.
Like the men that I help are super, super high level dudes. And I will share a story from back when I used to drink, at my career, 50, 60 drinks a day, snort cocaine all day long, handfuls of pills, heroin, and go to sleep. However, most of my business deals that I did back in the day were done over drinks and handshakes, over at a bar. So there was this mindset that I had, which was this: when I drank, I was like Superman.
Yeah, liquid courage.
Right? It wasn't liquid courage. I had plenty of that though, plenty of nights of getting in fights. It was more of just like, it was an opportunity to open up the gap of creation to be able to sit with somebody else and almost like a trust factor. Like, I've even had people who have said, I didn't want to do business with people who don't drink because I can't trust them. You probably heard that, right?
Of course. Absolutely.
So there was a time in my life when every deal, like I didn't know if I could continue on without drinking. Like, can I continue in business? I started thinking being drunk was me operating better than me being sober.
That's such an
It's
interesting
fucking wild.
Yeah.
Right? It really is.
I don't want to cut you off. I've heard that so many times, and now that I've expanded my thought process and how I think, like I've been there too. You know, I've been years ago when I was in corporate America. I know that feeling.
Yeah, talk a little bit about your drinking days and shit.
Yeah,
like that.
I used to be a heavy social drinker, but also a heavy networking drinker too.
So explain what you say the difference is between social and networking, because I would say I was the same, yet I was fucking wasted all the time.
Yeah, social was to build. So liquid confidence is probably the way I would describe it. Not courage, but liquid confidence. I'd feel less insecure in social settings, right? Where I'm a heavy introvert. So sometimes when I'm around a lot of people in one group setting, I tend to close off a little bit. But alcohol would open up my speaking, my ability to converse with women, right? Things like that, and feel like I'm part of just the natural flow of the social environment. The drinking and networking events was exactly what you just said, right? Where I was in sales. So if I'm with clients or even with other sales reps, if I'm not drinking, then all of a sudden I'm being labeled the guy who's like too good, or too cool, or thinks he's like above everybody else.
And was this like, were you still on your fitness journey at this point, or was this?
Oh yeah, this was kind of my transition from being a trainer in a gym to trying to figure out like, what am I going to do? Yeah. What am I going to do?
What's my real job going to be?
How am I going to actually make real money? Right. And drinking was such a big factor. It was how people would, network and share ideas and close deals too. Right. And looking back, it's like, man, like that's just a weird exchange of trust there. Right. Like, I think what people are, well, first of all, when someone says I'm not going to do business with somebody who doesn't drink, that sounds like a you problem, right? Like that's a big you problem. You got some serious issues going on.
Sure.
But I think what it really comes down to, because I would never want to do business with someone who's a drunk, right? That would scare the shit out of me. I'd be like, this person's going to like completely fuck everything up, right? I can't trust this guy.
Well, I think like finds like in that situation, right?
Yeah.
You look for somebody else that's going to be the same. It's a mirror. We had this conversation.
It's a mirror,
earlier, right? It's a mirror. Of course I don't want to do business with somebody who doesn't drink, because I get wasted all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's just an interesting social dynamic where I'm guessing what's probably behind that fucking surface level desire is like, I want to feel like the person I'm doing business with is just like me. Right. And if I sat down with someone and said, hey, I don't drink, and let me tell you why, right? Here's why I don't drink. I respect, if you want to drink, I got you, right? Cool. But here's why I don't drink. And you're transparent, you're vulnerable. Like, how would you not want to do business with that person, right? Who just fucking laid their heart out and was like, this is why I don't do it. It's not because I think I'm better than you. It's not because blah, blah, blah. It's just because this is how I operate. These are my fucking standards for myself. And I've been through hell and back. And so this is why I don't do it. I would be like, fuck, I want to do all sorts of business with this guy. Right. Versus like, yeah, I'm just going to take shots with you and there's just this surface level, social, exchange of whatever these rituals that we do as a community or whatever. It's like, it doesn't make sense, but we do it blindly. We don't even really think about it. Right. It's all really from a place of not wanting to appear like we're different. Right. It's actually giving way too many fucks at the end of the day. Absolutely. Right. We're giving way too many fucks because at the end of the day, people don't really care as much as you think, right? They don't care as much as you think. Maybe in the moment they care how you make them feel, but they're not going to really care about your drinking habits once that little hour exchange is done, right? They're not going to go home and lose sleep and go, oh my God, Mark Chittison didn't fucking drink tonight. I can't sleep. What the fuck? I got to tell my wife. I got to tell my kids. Like, sure. They're not giving a fuck like that. What might actually happen if you don't drink and you're transparent on why you don't drink, they might actually go home and go, fuck, man, that guy like inspired me a little bit, man. What am I doing? Like, why am I hungover? Like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
When I first stopped drinking, I kind of like, I had to build this whole thing for myself. So like the first 2-3 years was like, I mean, I was like a very severe case. Once I started kind of like going back out into society a little bit, showing up at places, I can even remember when I first started dating Kendra, we went to like some family events and like they're kind of watching me. And after a little while, people start coming up to me like, so how did you do it? What do you like whispering to me? Right.
Yeah.
And it's different now because I'm so far removed from it that it's almost like I'm untouchable for many people. But when I was in this place, when it was kind of fresh 2-3 years, people were like, dude, it's inspiring. I want to get there. I want to do it. Exactly. How do I do it? And then, so that's a great point to bring up for people out there that are struggling with.
This is the same way, by the way. It's the same exact way.
Yeah.
When I was 65 pounds overweight, and then I shifted all my habits, right? I stopped going out and getting fucked up and eating food and going to Taco Bell at 4 a.m, 3 times a week and like doing all that stuff.
How old were you when that was?
My early 20s. Yeah, I was, just living the party lifestyle. I was, 270 pounds.
How did you go from your athlete, right, to 270? Like, what was it? Just
so
lazy?
Stopped the high amounts of activity that I was doing as an athlete, right? Basically training twice a day for most of my life, playing sports and all that stuff. And then really never confronting my demons that I had internally with my relationship with my father, getting out in the real world for once and not being at college and feeling like I had a little bit of a safety net right in school where there wasn't high expectations for me. And then I go out on my own and I'm like, oh my God, I got to have like all these responsibilities and fuck, I'm not making the money I thought I was going to make. And then I'm not working out because I'm working, trying to make the money, all the excuses, right? But just trying to figure life out. I turned to food as a drug because food is definitely an addictive substance. I mean, no matter what anybody says, it hits the same trigger points in your brain in some cases as hardcore drugs do. So it can be very addictive. And that was my addiction for many years where I would just turn to food constantly.
Bro, I think in some cases it's actually more addictive because it's no different than like coffee. There's no like immediate impact of like it's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Right? We talked about this morning at the gym. Too much caffeine makes me angry, makes you irritable, right? With food, it's a slow burn. It's a slow burn, bro.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with letting myself down.
Oh yeah. The body, dude, to the body's credit, the body is it's a miracle because you can overeat and the body will slowly change in the wrong direction, right? But it's not like, it's not like you go out and you drink, I don't know people's tolerance, but let's just say, for example, you had like 8 shots, right? You wake up the next day and you're just puking everywhere, just fuck. Like your body's clearly telling you.
I never puked off 8 shots, but.
Well, you're a freak of nature. But like if I go out and have 8 shots, the next day I'm throwing up everywhere. I'm a terrible human being for the next 24 hours, right? But it's a clear sign that like, hey, dude, you just fucked up. But if I go out and have a large pizza, I wake up the next day inflamed, a little bloated, right? But I'm like kind of back to square one. Like, oh, my body digested it.
Yes.
It's good, right? I don't see the body fat like instantly. It takes years of that shit. Well, in some cases, maybe not years, but
I think it's very similar to alcohol as well, right? Like when you start eating like shit, it's almost your body's craving more bad shit. And you probably know the science behind this. I'm not.
Oh, absolutely. Your appetite is
I notice like when I have no sugar, say I'll go like 30 days with no sugar and then also to have a cookie or something. It's like, I want fucking 100 cookies.
Yes. Yes. The pleasure centers in your brain, your appetite, your body's response to highly energetic foods, right? Like sugar. Sugar's like high octane fuel, like rapidly into your bloodstream, right? So usually the body has to work to break down. This is just getting into the science, but like if you ingest potatoes, for example, potatoes will get broken down. It takes a little bit of time, and then it gets turned into glucose, which is just sugar. That's all it is. But if I eat just cookie, it's like fat and sugar instantly. It's like, oh, the work's already done. So the body's like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. Like, give me more of that. Temporarily, of course. But then over time, it's like, I want more. It's addictive. So you're getting something that temporarily could be a good thing. Like if I'm going to go on a run, like if I go doing a marathon and I take some sugar before the marathon, that's a good thing because my body needs that. But if I'm just eating cookies sitting at the desk, my body's like, oh yeah, this is good. But long term, it's not good, right? It's not what your body needs. But yeah, it's a slow burn. The body doesn't give you. The body is an amazing thing, but it's not like what you said with the caffeine or alcohol or other more powerful addictive substances, right? It's almost like an instant feedback that this isn't good for you, but food's different, man. It's totally different. So
I started this thing out saying, is alcohol a performance enhancing drug? Let's switch gears over to let the audience hear a little bit about your system.
Sure.
Right. So I'm all about winning.
Yeah.
True Transformation is the name of your company.
Yep.
And you're based on your 3Ms.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Movement
3M system.
Movement, muscle, meals.
Yep.
Maybe not in that order.
That's exactly it.
Okay. It is
yeah. Movement, muscle, meals. We do that in order because I think that's the order of low hanging fruit and also ease of understanding and application. Movement is the easiest one. Muscle is technically the second easiest. And then meals is the hardest one, right? For guys to really wrap their head around and start to change their habits. But that's exactly it. Yeah. It's movement, muscle, and meals. So
right now it's really trendy. The time we're filming this, it's coming up to New Year's, Christmas, New Year's. And I see like you posting about alcohol, a bunch of other fitness people talking about alcohol. You said it's not good for the body, but people are going to make choices and decisions over these next couple of weeks to be able to drink and still blow off their responsibilities. Any tips or anything like in your 3M, not in your 3M system, but like if you're going to do it, how can you get rid of it quicker? How can you, it's a lot of fucking work, right? Just it's easier just to say don't do it, but there's ways to do it, correct?
Sure. Absolutely, man. Yeah,
if you're going to do it, you're a winner, right? Here's how you should do it. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Absolutely.
Because my message isn't about fuck alcohol.
No.
Man, maybe someday we'll have a beer. Maybe we won't.
Yeah. I totally understand this time of year there's a lot of things going on, right? There's pressure. But let's look at it from just a game plan perspective so you know how to win the game, right? Alcohol can be a gateway to a lot of other really bad habits with your fitness, right? From missing workouts the next day because you're fucking tired and hungover, to your appetite getting completely fucked up and out of control. I know when people drink, they typically go eat a bunch of bullshit, and then eating a bunch of bullshit makes them feel like shit, so they don't want to go to the gym. Sure. Then they feel like shit for not going to the gym, then they feel guilty, and then they drink, and the next thing you know, it's like all of December is just fucked, right? And they get to January and they say they're going to start blah, 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 right? So alcohol can be a gateway to really just destroying anything you've built good habits wise or preventing you from getting to where you want to be. So from a practical standpoint, I always tell guys, look, nobody's perfect. I'm a fitness professional. I've been doing this for 20 plus years, have a ton of experience, but I'm still a 90-10 guy. And what that means is what I do 90% of the time allows me to get away with the 10%. Now, alcohol is not my vice. Can I drink? Sure. Do I like it? Absolutely not. I really don't enjoy it.
Sure.
If I, pick something I'd enjoy, it wouldn't be alcohol. It'd probably be food, right? I'd rather eat some good food. So we all have our vices, right?
Pizza or something.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll use just the term vice and we could say it's alcohol, food, whatever. But I try to really do what I call my 2-minute monthly game plan, right? To look at my month and say, what do I have coming up that I want to have the flexibility and freedom to not be perfect, right? So if it's the holiday season, and I joke around with guys and I'm like, listen, we get so worked up about the holidays when it's really like, it's a handful of days out of, if you start your holiday season on Halloween, you probably have out of 90 days, you probably have 6 days that are technically holidays, right? Or around the holidays.
But the problem is, they don't have the self-control or the discipline.
Yeah.
So they're looking at like, you know what? The year's coming to an end.
Yep.
It was a good year or a bad year. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
I'm going to fucme shun all my responsibilities.
Sure.
I'm playing all the way in like a gluttonous drunk pig.
Yeah. And here's the thing. So me and my team, we were just talking about, I'll give Ryan a shout out, my videographer. We were talking about this thing called the anti-binge, right? So around the holiday season, there's a lot of binge eating and binge drinking going on. You go all in, like you said, play the gluttonous game. So what I tell guys is, first of all, you can be gluttonous. That's cool, right? That falls into the 10% bucket. Let's just pick our battles. So this doesn't turn into an absolute shit show where you're not even enjoying it anymore. You're waking up feeling like dog shit every day. And you're just kind of counting the days until you hit the reset button. That's no way to live, man. Like the quality of your life isn't even going to be good at that point. You feel like a slob. You feel lesser version of yourself. So why don't we pick our battles and say, these are the days I'm just going to fucking go for it, right? I'm going to go to holiday party. I'm going to crush it. I'm going to go out to eat with the wife and kids, Christmas dinners, whatever. And then maybe throughout the holiday season, we have some general guidelines around how you can enjoy some of the stuff at the house, right? Because we always have the treats, you go to the office, you got cookies, you got the holiday Christmas bullshit everywhere, right? So we pick our battles, but we set some guidelines. And then if we're like, hey, dude, like I'm in the holiday spirit. I'm trying, everyone else is just eating whatever they want. I want to have whatever I want too. This is where the anti-binge comes in, right? And what this basically is why not just eat a shit ton of good food sometimes? right? Don't worry about the calories. Don't worry about like, hey, am I like being perfect with my protein or whatever? I'll give you an example, right? So sometimes we'll have people over for the holidays, you know, like randomly. Like, hey, my wife likes to have friends over. She'll cook a bunch of food. And everybody's just piling food on their fucking plate. And I'm over there like, man, I'm a fitness guy. What the fuck am I going to do, right? I'll just grill up a couple big steaks. I'll put a bunch of potatoes in an air fryer or grill, you know, fry up a bunch of healthier potatoes. And I'll just go in, dude. Like I'll eat whatever but as long as it's a healthier food. I'm not worried about the calories. I'm probably eating more calories than I need. But the cool thing is when you eat healthier and you eat even higher quantities, you wake up feeling way less shitty than eating 18 cookies, 2 pieces of cake, and some ice cream. Then you're like, God damn, like, why did I even do that, right? Like, you regret it. But if you wake up after eating 2 big steaks, potatoes, a bunch of salad, like, that tastes good, the next day you're like, oh, man, like, that was a lot of food, but, like, I want to go work out now, right? I want to go, like, do my morning walk.
You're probably stronger.
And you're stronger. Yeah, because here's the thing, all right? So let's just get something clear. You cannot live your entire life in fat loss mode. Right? You can't always be the guy trying to lose weight. Like you can't. It doesn't make any sense. Most of your life should be spent in a zone that I call the maintenance zone, right? Where you have some rules around, I'm not going to get heavier than this. I'm not going to allow myself to feel any more depleted than this. And I'm just living in this zone most of the time. And I probably have goals, right? Like maybe I want to go, you know, learn how to run a marathon, or maybe I want to build my bench up, or maybe I want to just improve my heart health, right? And I want to get my testosterone where it needs to be. These are great goals, but you can't always be the guy who's like, yeah, I'm trying to lose 20 pounds again. I'm trying to lose 15 pounds again. You should lose the weight for a period of time, but then learn how to maintain it. And one of the things I tell guys is like part of maintenance is being okay with gaining weight sometimes. I gain weight during the holiday season. I'm a fitness professional. I allow myself to gain about 5 or 6 pounds. That's just part of it because I know I'm going to shave that shit off after the holidays. Like
is it really 5 or 6 pounds, or is it just water?
It's probably a pound or 2 of fat and 4 or 5 pounds of water. 100%. Yeah, people. That's a whole other thing. Is like
in how long of a time frame?
2 months. Yeah, like from Thanksgiving.
Oh, so I say. So it's not just the week of Christmas.
Oh no. Week of
you can't pack on a pound of fat, can you? Maybe you could.
You could. Yeah. I mean, for the guys out there who are like actually worried about this, and they're like, hey, I really want to make sure I don't completely fuck myself. A pound of fat takes about 3,500 calories over your maintenance. So if maintaining my weight requires 3,000 calories, for me to gain a pound of fat, I have to eat about 6,500 calories in one day, right? Because it's 3,500 in excess of your maintenance.
That's it.
That's 1 pound of fat. And even then it's not exact
So
science.
if you do that over 7 days,
6,500 calories over 7 days, you gain 7 pounds of fat. But that's a shit ton of calories. Like I don't know if you've ever tried to do that because no, I've tried to eat.
I'm fucking getting sick thinking about it.
Right. So I've actually had days where just for experimentation, I've actually said, okay, let me try to eat 5,000 calories today. It's actually way harder than you think.
But are they like hard, like good calories or like?
No, like junk.
Go to
like a bag of chips, right? So like a big bag of chips is like, let's just call it 600 calories. Maybe it's more, whatever. You eat a whole big bag of chips. You're like, fuck, like that was yeah, I'm not sick, but like that was a lot, you know what I mean? Because usually you're just munching. You have a cookie here, you have a handful of some bullshit here. You pile a plate of food, which yeah, the food's a lot, right? But even then, it's probably only 1,500 calories because it's just your body really. I know some people binge eat heavily.
So what did you say? It's 3,500.
Yeah, 3,500 calories is once again, and this is it's about as exact as we can get in terms of what it takes to gain a pound of fat. And that's why I always tell
you eat 500. So let's just say it's 2,600.
Sure.
Maintenance.
Yeah.
And you eat 31, 7 days a week, you'll gain a pound of fat.
Yep.
Unless you burn more. 3,100 calories.
Yeah. Unless you say, all right, I'm going to go for walks. I'm going to burn more calories, which is also another strategy, right? I tell guys, hey, listen, have some non-negotiables that make sense for you during the holiday season. Maybe it's not go to the gym 4 days a week because you got more stuff going on. You want to be out of town, you're with your family or whatever. Maybe you reset your holiday standards a little bit. You say, hey, for the month of December, I'm only going to train twice a week. I'm only going to work out 3 times a week, whatever it is.
See, dude, I go the opposite. Like Christmas is coming or
me too.
I'm like, yeah, I'm going to fucking lift hard.
But some guys aren't, some guys are like, oh no, I missed I literally talk to guys and I've, for years now who are like, oh yeah, the month of December, man, I think I saw the gym 4 times Like, what the fuck?
Never done that.
Like me, I'm like, I see the gym every day almost in December. Cause like,
even when I was fucking drinking or smoking meth or any type of job, I still went to the gym almost every day.
So I would make it a non-negotiable to have what I call a movement standards, right? So going back to the 3Ms, the movement pillar is the easiest one for guys because all it requires is you to get off your ass and go for a walk. That's literally it. So you could be at your office, like you have a standing desk where you have a treadmill underneath your desk. You may not make it to the gym. You may not be perfect with your diet because that's hard to do during the holidays. I mean, I will say it's not that hard to do if you had a fucking gun to your head though. Right? If it was my kid's going to die or I'm going to be shredded during the holiday season, guess what? I'm going to be shredded during the holiday season.
Absolutely.
So can guys do it? Yes. The desire for enjoyment is higher than their desire for fitness results typically during the month of December because of many different things, pressure, social stuff, whatever, right? I get it. So if you want to have non-negotiables, I would center it around your movement. I would say, hey, no matter what, I'm going to walk 10,000 steps a day. I might fucking eat a whole pie, right? Cool. Don't give yourself a ton of guilt over that. Have some guidelines like, hey, I'm going to get protein in. I'm going to have some healthy food during the day, but I don't expect perfection with my meals. I expect perfection with my movement. That I'm going to do, right? Because then, hey, at a bare minimum, you commit to goals and you follow through. So your self-belief and the standards that you set are met. Sometimes you got to adjust your standards temporarily, right? Like, hey, and I do it, right? I don't need to be 10% body fat on Christmas. Like I just don't, unless I had a project, right, that I needed to do, but I typically don't schedule projects for that. So it's like my standards are here. I'm going to meet those standards so that going into the next chapter, which is the beginning of next year, I feel really good about myself, right? My self-belief is intact. My standards were met and I stayed true to my word, right? I honored my commitments. And I think that's what builds momentum for guys. So they go into the new year. Most guys go into the new year all jacked up, right? Like, oh man, I didn't hit my goals. I'm fucking fat. I said I was going to do this. It's like, dude, why don't you just adjust the target so you can actually hit the target? And then whatever that target is, there's no right or wrong, but you nail it. You go into the new year going, all right, cool. I'm ready for the next chapter. Now I can just adjust the standards from January to whatever the next phase is, right? And I think that's really the ticket to surviving the holidays. But I always go back to like your desire, dude. If your desire is to get shredded during the holiday season, dude, fucking do it, man. Like do it because you can. It's not as hard as you think, right? You can do it. But guys just go, yeah, the juice may not be worth the squeeze, right? Had to throw my
juice
phrase
may
in.
not be worth the squeeze.
It may not be, right? You may go, yeah, it's going to be way too hard to say no to all the stuff, right? Or it's going to be way too hard to not have a couple drinks, right? And we can speak to alcohol. I think the simple thing with alcohol.
That's what I was going to go to next, right? So if it's an additional 500 calories per day, which what's in a beer is fucking couple hundred calories, right?
Yeah, a few beers,
I don't know what a Coors Light is.
Yeah, it's probably a couple hundred calories, I guess.
Maybe 100, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, 5, 6, 7, it's pretty easy to have.
I would say stay away from beer. That's rule number one. Stay away from beer because, well, here's the thing about beer, right? So it's got alcohol.
Sure.
But it also has wheat, barley, right?
So it's got more.
It actually has usable calories, but it's got more calories.
Sure.
So it's not just alcohol. So I would say if I had to drink and it's like, all right, choose your poison, right? What are you going to go with that's going to allow you to stay as close to as fit as possible? I would say clear liquors, all right? Tequila, right? It's probably your number one bet. Vodka would be your number two. Mix with diet mixers, right? So 0 calorie mixers. So don't go and have margaritas, don't go have, I love a Moscow Mule once a blue moon, right? But like, just because I love ginger, but don't do that because it's like 300 calories per drink, right? Have the tequila, which is 80 calories a shot. Mix it with a diet Sprite or something at 0 calories. So you had 80 empty calories. So here's the thing. It still counts toward your caloric value, but your body can't use it.
Yep.
So you can't go, oh, alcohol's just, it's empty. Doesn't know. No, it still counts toward your calorie goals for the day, but your body has to get rid of it before it can take care of the other calories that you ate from food. So that's where guys get massive weight gain, right? So they drink and eat at the same time.
Body's working double.
Body's going, shut down the burning of the pizza. Got to get the alcohol out first. And the pizza goes, digested, fat gets stored, and your weight gain actually is rapid during drinking season, right? So people, why do guys go, man, like, I went on vacation. I feel like I gained a fucking ton of fat. Well, what were you doing on vacation? Drinking, eating, not working out. Yeah. No shit, dude. You did literally the weight gain program.
It's not a vacation.
No, it's a gaincation. You gained a ton of weight, you know? So yeah, that's important to know, because you might go, oh, well, I'm not going to eat. I'm just going to drink, right? I'm not going to have food or whatever. You still got to remember, whatever is in your system, your body's not digesting it as efficiently. So there's the fitness guys out there, and I love them because I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to give people like a gateway to get into fitness and not think there's all these restrictions and shit. Dude, at the end of the day, alcohol is not your friend when it comes to fitness. It's the enemy. Now, it doesn't mean you can't include it. Just know that it is not going to help you get to your goals. It's just not. It's going to be a half step back, a full step back, in some cases a big, 3 or 4 steps back, but it's not an asset when it comes to getting in better shape and healthy. It's just not. So have discretion, have awareness around that, because despite what any fitness guy will tell you, oh, you can drink and get ripped. You can. Oh, but damn, it's going to be it's going to be a hard journey, bro. Like, it's not going to be fun. So just know that, so choose wisely. But I would go with the clear liquors, man. That's what I would do. If you're going to drink, a drink or two, I would do that.
So my holiday go-to back in the day would be like, wake up in the morning, snort a 50 sack of cocaine.
Sounds eerily unsimilar to mine.
Literally, or just at least some fat gagger, slam a shot of Rumpelmans,
Jeez.
Order a tall Grey Goose and with a splash of cranberry, so it's filled all the way to the top.
Yeah.
And a Coors Light. And I wouldn't eat. I wonder how many calories that was. It didn't matter. See, I was burning them off with the cocaine. I had this balance sheet. It was like this balance sheet I was creating.
Man, that's a hell of a morning movement.
Yeah, right. I say that kind of joking and laughing, but like legit, it wasn't just the holidays. But when the holidays came, I'm like, yep, man, I'm gonna shun off the responsibilities as a father, as a man, as a leader of my business, of everything I have. And I'm going to be so fucking selfish. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to party like this. I've been partying like that all the time. But then when the pressure from the holiday season would come, I'm like, fuck everybody. Watch how wasted I can get. I wouldn't say that, right?
It's just a thought.
It was just a thought that it would happen for me. And I wanted to share that on here. Not that I'm sure my listeners aren't probably doing that type of thing, but they're having 3, 4, 5 beers, having that extra piece of pizza, having the cake. Real quick, Josiah, before we head out here, where can these guys find you at? What's the best way?
Yeah. Social media is definitely the best way. You go to Josiah Fitness on pretty much every platform, or you can go to thetruetransformation.com. We can get you started with some resources that we have available. But yeah, man, I just want to share one thought because you made me think of something. But the holiday season can be, even for the most successful, purpose-driven guys, it can be a time where there's a lot of stress. Maybe you have to be around, because I'll just speak from my experience, right? I can't speak for anybody else. But sometimes when you're around family where there's some distance, maybe not distance mileage wise, but distance in terms of mindset wise, right? You're around people who the vibes, the energy, the vibrations are just different, right? And you have to navigate those waters a little bit. You almost have to put on not a front, but you maybe you're intimidating to some people, right? Like I know I come in rooms of family and they're like, "What the fuck do you think you are, Mr. fucking Josiah Fitness? Like what the fuck?" And I'm like, "What? I love you." Like what but that could be a driving force behind drinking or eating and just trying to numb yourself to kind of the environments that you're in. So what I've done is I said, okay, maybe I won't ever be able to feel perfectly comfortable in some of these environments, right? What can I do that's going to relieve the stress? I can go walk. I can go work out, right? And maybe I won't be perfect with my nutrition, but I can get things done that are going to add value to my life, right? And crazy story for it, I'll end it with this. I have a sister. She struggled with weight for a long time, right? And we go to holidays and she would always see me doing my workouts, doing my stuff like, oh, just I went for a run this morning, oh, this or whatever. And she'd always be like watching, right? And I always feel bad because she really struggles, right? She's got some serious issues with a lot of different things. She's a beautiful person, just struggle with stuff. This past year, she was like, dude, I finally did it. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I'm following your system. I was like, no way. She's like, yeah, I'm doing it. I said, well, what's going on? She's like, I lost 60 pounds. I was like, what? Keep in mind, this is someone who like at events, I'd be like a little like, she'd be like, why are you not eating? Like, what the fuck, But like, she was just trying to figure out what I was doing. That's all it was. It wasn't like I was making her feel uncomfortable. It was just, she was curious. And I was the one going, oh shit, I'm like being too cool or like I'm, whatever. I'm not partaking with her. Meanwhile, I was inspiring her. right? And she now is in so much better shape. She's healthy. Like, it's amazing, right? But these are some of, and I only see her around holidays. So it's one of those things where maybe the people you're around at these times a year, maybe just being slightly better with your habits will inspire somebody. It's just a thought, right? Just a thought. So yeah, that's all I got, brother.
Awesome, man. Thank you for being here. That's it for today's episode. We'll see you guys next week.
Appreciate it, brother.